Happy October. I am so happy October is here, and this month is flying by. It is so full, and I wanted to share in this vlog. It was supposed to be a week in the vlog. It's like 3 weeks in the vlog, but just 3 weeks in the life of what I've been doing with all of the art and creating lots of fun projects, lots of ways I'm decorating. If you came over to my place, there are pumpkins everywhere. I've got lots of flowers. I had chosen some for a flower shoot, and some were given to me for my birthday, and I am just keeping them as long as I possibly can. So you see the sunflowers behind me and really sweet flowers for my friend. I've got pumpkins everywhere in the apartment. I have candles. It's just really wanted to bring it a fall feel. As the season turns and it actually gets cold out, I start changing up the colors. Of course, what I'm wearing, this is one of my favorite sweaters. It was actually one that I borrowed from one of my sisters, and then she gave it to me, so that was super sweet of her. But it brings back memories of the fall and just reminds me of my sister. I've got some really fun earrings from my friend Temery, who I love the earrings that she makes. And then of course in my art too, and I'm using this year a lot of plums and purples and deep greens. And so if you're looking just to change things up in your art and your palette, just doing a simple color swatch. We don't even have to get like new decor or new everything like a lot of magazines might show. I find that just bringing new flowers in, for example, or bringing in new colors of candles and fall scents and pumpkins is a really great way. And then just changing up some colors. So I'm using a lot of dioxazine purple and a different blue. So I love the phthalo blues, but this is some of the new ones that I just picked up because I was running out of them. But I really love this one that I've had, the quinacridine violet, which I always say the name incorrectly, but lots of warm yellows. So the cadmium yellows here. I've got a viridian green, which is pretty cool, but I mix it in with some other warmer colors. All the colors for fall are muted. They're a bit heavier, right? They have an energy to them. They're not as light and bouncy as spring. Fall has an energy to it, but it's a robust energy. It's harvest. It's it can be very romantic, right? We've got all the plums and purples, which I absolutely love, and then all the browns. So we have burnt umber, and then I have a raw umber, which I don't usually use except in my fall colored paintings. And so I'm going to do some fun quote art this time around, as well as showing you just some glimpses of the different art that I'm doing. So super fun projects, great for just relaxing, maybe by the fire or a quiet evening or in the morning, just enjoying the cool weather. There's so many good quotes with fall, so I wanted to incorporate a couple of them with the art. And again, I'm probably sending these out in snail mail or framing them and giving them as gifts around the holidays for those who have birthdays in the fall. So come along with me and let's have fun doing some fall art projects, really super easy, relaxing, fun fall things, because we just love to keep adding to the beauty and sharing just the beauty and the colors of the season with everyone around us. So let's get going. Hey everyone, we are back. Okay, so we are going to create some really fun fall art with quotes. This was something that's always a lot of fun and seems to be something that people enjoy. So I've got a couple of quotes today, and I thought what I would actually start out by doing is going ahead and writing out some of the quotes and doing some sketching with the gold paint pen first. It's been getting a little bit darker, so I've been playing with the light a bit and seeing, okay, I want as much natural light as possible, but just getting a little bit of a hint from my lamp over there. Okay, so one of them, I think over here, you see I've got some paint splattered on here, but that's not a big deal. Actually, though, I think I am going to start out by doing just a little bit of some splattering. I have been having a lot of fun. I'm actually working on the launch or the relaunch of a course that I had put back into I just kind of rehidden it. It had let it out for just a short time a couple years ago and then revamped it, but it's called Splatter Art, and I've just been really enjoying doing a bit of that. I've got 2 pieces of paper right now, as you can see, and so I'm just going to splatter a bit of yellow paint. I've got cadmium or a yellow out that I'm doing. I'm actually going to put out some brown as well, and then we will add in some pinks and purples and plums. I am going to write in one of the quotes. I've been shaking my pen, and I'm going to put in over here, life starts all over when it gets crisp in the fall. I think this is an Emily Bronte quote, but I'm going to just add it in. I'm actually with this one, life starts all over when it gets crisp in the fall. And I don't know about you, I think this is Emily Bronte, but I love the idea of a fresh start, right? So I've just written that out. Nothing too fancy. You can see I don't have really great script handwriting or anything like that. And this one over here, I'm actually going to go ahead, I think I'm going to sketch out a little bit of a tree, and we're going to end up writing the words up the tree. Maybe we'll sketch out some pumpkins. Maybe that one's hiding behind the tree. Put another one in front of the tree. I love all the pumpkins out right now. I'll do a fun stem on this one over here. Maybe this guy's stem was over here. And then I'll do another pumpkin here, a shorter, stouter one with maybe a longer curly stem. You can see I'm just really doing loose sketches here. We're going to fill in these beautiful sketches with some beautiful quotes and just kind of let it go. Really nice and loose and easy. This vlog is all about really bringing fall into our homes with just changing up some color, adding in some pumpkins, some leaves, some fresh decor. And I'm going to put one of my favorite quotes is that autumn is a beautiful autumn shows us how beautiful it is to let things go, which sometimes, I don't know about you, so autumn shows us how, and I'm going to, beautiful it is to let, and then I'm actually going to put up in the branch things, and then I'm going to just go dot, 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 go. We'll put some dots, and then we're just going to go ahead and show how we'll have some falling leaves. In fact, let's go ahead and paint on some really leaves, and I'm actually going to be painting tonight with plums and purples. I'm not doing traditional reds. We are doing something a bit differently, bringing in some of our gorgeous fall colors. And I'm going to go ahead over here and just even do a beautiful leaf dropping. We're going to go ahead and add some beautiful leaves over here. And remember, with our gold paint, it repels, right? So we don't have to worry about the paint, the quotes, blending or fading away. See how that paint just repels them. So I'm just letting it, adding in that first layer of leaves over here. And I'm also going to put in some cadmium yellow because yellow and purple go so beautifully together. Sometimes you don't necessarily want them to touch per se. And another leaf falling right at the beginning, I'll put in, because you can see they're actually adding a bit of yellow to purple will create a lovely shadow. But we have to be a bit careful with it. Okay, I am going to go ahead and just grab some more purple. Put a little bit in here, see how it does. The purple will have a tendency to overpower it, but I'm just adding in, this is again, just our absolutely very free-feeling, free-falling tree. I'm always a little bit mixed about this quote. In one way, I love it, but autumn shows us how beautiful it is to let things go. Letting go is hard though, right? And so I sometimes wrestle with that too. It is beautiful, sometimes more beautiful in the background, right? When we're looking at things in hindsight. Okay, so I am adding in yellow first to my pumpkins. And again, not adding tons of paint. I am just putting in, let's put some on the bottom where it's going to be heavier. Adding some more paint down there. And then where the stem is, I'm going to go ahead and create some of my tree trunk. And we'll let that go too. I'll end up probably, what I'll do too is end up putting some of this purple down below here. I don't want to put too much yet because it will bleed into my pumpkins. And I want to create that sense of piles of leaves, right? And so I am just letting my paintbrush just kind of flitter around on the paper. I'm not creating too much of an outline, keeping things very nice and easy. Now over here, what I can start doing is I look at this side, and I've got some leaves too, just to inspire me, some maple leaves. If you want to have leaves that maybe you're picking up on your nature walk and bringing them out, I just love the different shapes. And on this side, I'm actually going to create bigger leaves, right? And just go ahead and create the nice tip here like I can see in the leaf. And this is more of almost a micro look, or a macro look, I'm sorry, at the beautiful leaves that I have going on here. And bringing that all the way down. And I notice that my stem, you see how it's thicker here at the bottom, right there. And so I also want to create that sense of thickness and bringing that right over here. And a little bit deeper color right through here. There's some interesting line work here, so I'm going to add that in. I'm going to go ahead and then grab in some of the magenta and layer that in. And let those two colors dance together. They're going to be very, very beautiful. They're going to collide and dance and sing together. And I probably will add in some of that gamboge or the cadmium yellow too. And then up here I can create another one. I'll go up here where I had done some splattering, and my stem fell off, but on this guy here, I love the way that these leaves, they go in nice and deep and then branch back out almost like a starfish. And then come back out over here. Maybe it's even going off the page. And just looking at the beauty of the leaves, their details, the way they do let go easily. They don't fight it. I will say that. Sometimes change, I find myself fighting things. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have to have at least 5. They've got to have 5. Make sure we've got our uneven amount of leaves here. I find myself fighting change. But actually grab some brown. Instead of learning a lesson from the trees of when something season is done, of just letting it go and maybe not fighting so much. I think it's hard for us to do, right? Just thinking about that as I just have some things in my life that I know I need to let go of. Things are changing and I want them to stay the same, but that isn't possible. So instead of fighting it, just letting things go, appreciating things for what they've been, relationships for what they've been. Things change though, right? And I was really challenged by that, just to be more appreciative of what things have been and people have been, and release them when it's their season is up. And that can be for anything, for jobs, for seasons, for heaven's sakes, right? Letting go of the summer, the longer days as we adjust to colder weather. Okay, I'm going to do another little leaf right down here. And it can be a beautiful thing instead of a sad thing. People move, we move, all the things, right? I'm noticing usually like springtime is such a time for moving, but I have never seen so many for sale signs in the neighborhood that I'm living in. I'm in an apartment, but it's right by a pretty big neighborhood, and they are just for sale everywhere, and things change. So it was my birthday this month. If you saw the last vlog, I had such a wonderful time. October has been so much busy. That has been a change. Going from things were kind of ramping up, but everything, it like turned on as October got here. I could feel it coming in September. And this month has been full. Anybody else? I'd love to hear in the comments too. If it is really full for you, are you still creating? Are you prioritizing? You're being intentional? I know I have to be really intentional. But it's so good. It's so good to get in here and paint and work on projects. All right, I'm just going to splatter. So, that's a beautiful brown. I'm going to splatter down here. I think I'm actually going to take the brown in this one and bring my brown. Let's just see what happens. We're gonna experiment and pull it down and into my branch. You see I left some white. We don't need to color in everything. Really enjoy that fun, that joy of not filling in everything. It's when we fill in everything almost like it's a coloring page, that creates a bit of a flat painting. So leaving some white in and leaving some variation of color and not trying to be quite so neat and tidy, that is watercolors magic. So just let that go. Now I'm going to I will add in some gamboge over here because I think we should bring in some warmth to this side. I think I'm not going to add in any green to this one. So we're really going to stick with plums and purples and browns. And it's gorgeous, right? Look at how beautiful that is. I'm going to go down here to this leaf, and I think I could put more, but I think what I'll do is I'll end up putting more splattering. We're going to go when it dries. I'll come back over, I'll put more detail. And I'm actually really enjoying this. We can add in more detail and shadow work if we want to. And I want to get that a little bit. There we go. There's some boldness. I'm actually going to come back over here now. That is really looking very, very nice. What I might even do is when it dries, I can take in some gamboge and go all around against the paint, and that will make that quote really, really pop. Maybe though, the one thing I might want to do I want to maybe pull my stem out a bit. So it's going all the way down here. I kind of like that. They're almost crisscrossing right there. That's really nice. And I think I want a bit of purple in this one. This is that dioxazine purple, just a little bit, because I have some over here so that way we have the colors moving around. Okay. All right. Okay, so I went to a retreat this past weekend. It was wonderful. I haven't been to a retreat like this in such a long time, and it was just a time of quiet, lots of prayer. It was all about just getting away. It was through church and practicing the presence of God and just being quiet and spending time in prayer. We had some precious conversations with other women, long walks, just looking in nature. There was no cell service, which was actually kind of great. Gave me time to not touch that email or anything like that. Okay, I'm going to add some plum over here. There is a pretty small group, and it was really lovely. It was really lovely. It wasn't like a really big emotional experience. It was just a time of being quiet and remembering priorities. And yeah, it was lovely. It was especially in a month where it felt like I didn't have time. Isn't that funny too? When we don't have time to get away or to slow down for a little bit. It's always amazing when we leave things that we think maybe we even leave them a little bit messy. The most important things do get done. We come back and take care of them. It all ends up okay. I just love the practical aspect of the weekend too. Reminders of good practices that we need to have. Was challenged in some ways in a really good way, but it was lovely. It was really nice. There was a lot of deer where we were. So saw the deer, saw a bunch of turkeys. Thankfully didn't see anything. Didn't say anything bigger or meaner or anything like that. Okay, let me come back over here. I apologize. So you can see now with my tree, that's just my tape falling. I'm going to back it up a bit. So you can see we've got lots of color. Now if I go back through with my purple in here, what's going to happen is it's probably going to get a bit muddy. So if I'm going to do that, I need to probably let it dry so I can put a layer on there. But what I can also do is I can take my gamboge or take some brown and kind of layer on some colors in here. This is going to blend a bit. That's fine. Not worried about that at all. Of course, too, we're thinking if this is a tree, and if this, depending on where the sun is, you're going to have some heavier areas, right, versus where the sun is shining on them. So this is actually darker, so we're going to maybe pretend the light's coming back on this way, and this part is in shadow. If that is the case, I need to make all of this darker, and this side keep it lighter. So even like my tree trunk, as we start to add some other color, I can even pull in down that purple into the trunk. I want to even maybe grab some, I think I have some in this little bit, some raw umber, as I'm going to pull that up. And I'm just going to dab that, and that is quite dark, and that's fine. we're going to actually be using a couple different areas. I'm going to add it to my leaves on this side. And because we're all using that fall palette, it all goes together nicely. I'm also going to bring in that dark color over here. And over here with my leaves, we're adding in some dark as well. I'll add some of the lighter, the burnt sienna over here. All these leaves that are falling. And adding another leaf down here as they all fall to the ground. Alright, and then over here I am just going to do some splattering here. We're not going to do tons of leaves everywhere. Again, the whole idea between this quote art, it's fairly fast. We're not spending tons of time on it, right? It's something that we can do in an evening or a morning. And I love that when you just need a little bit of time to create. Maybe you're even making a gift for a friend or a family member. You want to do some quote art. I have been using my very favorite size 7 round tip brush, but you can always change it up if you want to do more detail work. I'm going to grab some of that raw umber for the stems of the pumpkin. So I'm going to go over here and just add in that stem, and it's going to creep down a little bit. That's okay. I'm going to put in that stem too. And over here, I want to create that sense of contrast. Remember, contrast clarifies? I learned that in a class completely unrelated to art, but it is so true for life. Contrast does clarify. If you want to add in some branches perhaps over here. And our quote has kind of gotten hidden. The gold art does that, but that's okay. I am not worried about that. I am not worried about that at all. I am going to blend this paint in as I create that sense of weightiness underneath my pumpkin over here and over here as well. And I am not worried that it's going to get just the littlest bit muddy. That's okay. That is fine. When this dries, I'll probably come back down and add just a few more. I can definitely add some more splatters to my pumpkins, but isn't that coming along really pretty? So really 2 fun pieces of art, really not too long. It's not too complicated. I'm going to add a little bit darker over here, and it looks beautiful. It looks really lovely. Now I can come back over here if I wanted to, and remember I was telling you if you get nervous about coloring your paint, but it just shows up beautifully. And that, doing a little bit of a background coloring will help to make that pop. Oh, I'm sorry. That's my text. Oh, my sister found my glasses. How fun. I left my sunglasses. I don't know where I put them, but she apparently has found them, so that's super fun. Okay, I mixed a little bit of purple and gamboge, and I'm actually, you might want to wait till this is dry, but I'm going to put it just a little bit over around the leaf to give them the sense of like dancing. You have to be careful though, because you can see what happens is that, well, I just have a bigger leaf now. That's not a big deal. But over here, keep it away. If you want to create the sense of movement or of motion, just keep it away from the wet paint or wait till it completely dries. But that can be a fun way too to show just a sense of motion, give it another feel for your quote art. And I'm going to put just a little bit more of the gamboge. Isn't that fun? I think that's really fun. I could always come back and do more if I wanted to. More detail, especially maybe in here if I want to drop a little bit more color. But not necessarily. I may just put a little bit in here. Just again, the contrast clarifies. So we'll create more contrast in here. Down here, maybe in the tip. I think that's really pretty. A little bit over here. That looks lovely. Some splatters. And that paint is repelling it. I got a little bit on the gamboge, but that's fine. It's going to dry beautifully. Now, if I wanted to, though, if I thought to myself, you know, it is a bit dark. Maybe I didn't want to do that much, Melissa. Got a little bit carried away. I can just take my brush and mop it up. And I know it's a little bit, still a little bit intense. I can just dab it with, there we go. Dab it with my paper towel or whatever cloth towel you have. I can go back with the yellow, the gamboge, and just put a bit more yellow. And there we go. Let that just soften up a bit. You can make a nice curves like this. Okay, you guys, You can see I just start plain and plain and plain. Let it dry, come back if you want to, but this looks absolutely lovely. We've spent 20 minutes. We have created 2 absolutely lovely pieces of fall art. These are beautiful to add into your journal. You can, once they dry, take them off, you can write a journal entry on the back and tack it into a book or the journal that you're writing in, frame them, send them in snail mail, brighten someone's day, and have a wonderful rest of your week of October. I will see you very soon. Hey everyone, okay, I wanted to come back in. You see how some of the things got water stains? Like so often I've come back in, it's the next day, I'm looking around, I'm looking at my quote, and I'm thinking to myself, I just want to add a few more details. So this is going to be just a quick minute, and I am going to just add in some dabs of paint. In order to get some of that water stain out, I have added in some more details over here with my pen. And then I'm going to come back with the raw umber, and I'm going to go over here because remember we talked about this is the side where there's not as much sun, so we know it's going to be more darker over here, but more shadowing. So I'm going to go ahead right now, and I know there's going to be shadowing over here, so I'm just adding in some color. I can even take some of that raw umber or the brown and add it to the gamboge, add a little bit to my pumpkins even, maybe a little bit of light, some of my leaves for example, and hopefully you can see all that. I'm going to come back up here too with that gamboge, and I'm going to go ahead and just lay a little bit more color, especially where it felt like it was just fading a bit. That is really normal with watercolor. We get a bit of fading, so I like to come back and add in some more layering, and that's really pretty, right? Those gorgeous plum purples. I'm going to add in some more over here. I'm going to mix it with a little bit of the brown and add it in over here. And just moving my brush around, wanting to kind of bring it back more of that filled in feeling, and the sense too that the painting is completed. There comes to a certain point where I'm like, okay, now it looks like it's done. I'm going to add a little bit of purple in there. I'm going to go back with my raw umber here, and we're going to move this just a little bit in here. Again, adding those colors, a little bit of shadowing. The darker colors add a bit of shadowing, which I love. And we're going to add a bit to the leaves over here that are falling, and I'm going to add a leaf right over here and make that leaf blow like it's blowing in the wind here. Very, very nice. So that starts to give a much more finished look to the painting. Over here on this side, I'm going to come back in over here and once again and do a little bit of the same. Just moving in some of that extra paint. If I want to put in a little bit more of the gold to show my stem, maybe to outline the leaves or the quote, I can just move that around here, bring in my brown and dab, and you can see where the gold paint just shuffles it right around. I love that. I love that a lot. Okay, I wanted just to come in and finish up and show you what that looks like. If you want to do some more splattering, this is the perfect time to do it, right? Because everything, the other splattering is all dry. Okay, I will go ahead and let these dry and then take a picture when I take them off, but I'm thinking they look absolutely lovely. Our gorgeous fall art.